Hi, and welcome to the first episode of a new series of Shift Happens. This series called Shift Happens Through Leadership Growth. I am delighted today to be joined by Dom, who will introduce herself in a moment. Really, this series is all about having conversations with people who are friends of Soul Trained, who have been in some form of leadership growth experience with us. So with that, Dom, I wonder if you would say hello to the people tuning in. Who are you? What do you do? And how do you know Soul Trained?
Yeah, definitely. So I'm Dom. I am a associate analyst at Just Global. And that's also where I got the chance to meet Soul Trained is through our Just Lead program that Soul Trained hosts, where internally, we identify folks who have the potential to be leaders, and we have a small little cohort of folks that really get together, and we spent 2 days of just nonstop time to talk, to learn, to grow, and it was a great experience. I loved it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I loved meeting you as well, Dom. I wonder, looking back, so it was last year, right, that we had Just Lead?
Was it? It had to have been, yeah.
Time over the last 12 months has just been so weird. Anyway, I mean, if you can look back to that moment when we were in Just Lead together, what for you were the greatest learnings or insights that you took from that experience?
Yeah, one of the biggest things I took was it's okay to be vulnerable. And like human naturally, we're more so guarded, and there's always that that fear of oversharing. But I've seen the benefits of being vulnerable and being honest with people. Even still now, we're all working remotely, and we've all experienced changes on the teams. People have come and gone, and just that simple, hey, I've been where you were, to see somebody kind of be able to just put their shoulders down and be like, thank you for allowing me to be seen, has shown just the world of difference, especially because we spend 8 hours with each other, more or less. Like we talk to each other all the time. We're constantly working with each other. So for all of us to be able to support each other and know that support's there, and also sometimes to share our struggles. Like once you talk to people and you kind of open up about what you're going through, you'll find that you're not alone.
It's really interesting to me, Dom, that you should say that, because I read a lot, and indeed when I'm working with clients a lot, they talk about how hard it is to connect with teams when you're working remotely. But I'm listening to you and you're saying, no, actually it's, as a result of some of the stuff that we talked about in Just Lead, that actually you've been able to connect more deeply, even though we're working remotely.
Yeah, right. And it's an interesting change, but I've definitely have connected more and started to learn more about my coworkers virtually than I did in the office. Some folks I haven't even had the chance to meet yet, but just being able to share things like your weekend or your family stories or what's going on with your pet. You didn't always get that in the office unless you were quote unquote friends or closer or somebody you work with constantly. So just being okay with not being okay and not trying to make it seem like you have everything together at every single moment of the day has definitely added a human factor that I don't think we would have got if we were in the office.
Wow. And you talked a little bit there about your process in terms of asking about the pet or asking about the weekend. Like, how else have you established and grown and deepened your connection with people in a virtual way?
Sometimes it's challenging, especially because in the office, like I was the person who would get up from their desk and, go walk and ask a question versus Slack or emailing or waiting around. The area I was in, we had a little whiteboard for question of the day. And throughout the day, you would just see people either passing by or just popping up out of their desk to chime in. So we definitely had more of an organic just conversation. So I take it upon myself, and now the people who I might have only seen in passing or I talk to because of office talk, just to still Slack them every once in a while, like, hey, I haven't talked to you in 3 months, like, are you good? Are you okay? Yeah, you're still at the company, but like, how are you as a person? And a lot of times we get so caught up in what's going on around us that we forget us.
It sounds like, Dom, what you've done is be very deliberate about the way in which you want to engage with people, recognizing that it used to be organic, but now it can't be. So you've put strategies and tactics in place to be able to, and it sounds like it's paid dividends.
Yeah, just being mindful of other people, and also not wanting to lose those connections and relationships that I already had. Because like, they were great people in the office, and they're still great people virtually.
Right.
We just don't get that same FaceTime anymore.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds pretty big. So I realize that I'm trying to squeeze extra juice out of the orange here right now, Dom. But like, other than that, the idea around your vulnerability and the deliberate connection strategies that you've put in place to work with your team, is there anything else that that came out of the work that you did in Just Lead that has shifted the way in which you show up as a leader?
Yeah, definitely. One of the things we talked about is acting in the position before you have the title of whatever that position may be. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times we can get focused on, I just want the title, but not necessarily willing to do the work to get there. Where now it's more than just checking boxes or like going the extra mile. It's, well, if you were in this position, would you still be doing these things? So just finding the little, like, everyday things to say, how can I continue to build on being a leader? Which, fortunately, I've heard good things about that.
You have?
So yes.
Is there anything you're willing to share, Dom, about what you've heard?
Yeah, just the fact that I'm showing up, I'm being proactive as far as growing my skill set and wanting to learn, taking advantage of office hours. And then from a team perspective, just letting people know, hey, if I'm going to be offline, letting them know before, the day before, or hey, I have 2 reports due. Can we work together to move something around, and not feeling like you need to give everything right away, because then you don't always do your best work.
Right. Yeah. There's a really awesome woman that I work with, one of my coaching clients, and she has a mantra that is a bit, it's along the lines of what you're talking about. She said that the mantra is show up, be fucking delightful, and let the magic happen. And she says that has time and time again just proven to work as a strategy for her career, for the way she shows up as a leader. And I'm really hearing that mirrored in you as well, Dom. Like, yeah, I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna be the role that I want to be, and I'm gonna do it with good grace, and I'm gonna do it with enthusiasm, and I'm gonna do it with my humanity. For people tuning in, if you had a message to go out to organizations out there about the importance of investing in leadership development for their employees, what would that message be?
It kind of goes along with the mantra, like, if you trust your people, the match is going to happen. If you support your people, they're going to do their best work. They're going to enjoy being at your company. So you also get to keep the talent that you have, and you'll see the investment time and time again just pay off in so many different ways, where your teams are working well together, clients are happy, your people are happy. You get those recommendations of, like, this is the place you want to be. Like, if you want to work somewhere, this is somewhere you can work, where you're not a cog in the machine. You're not a zombie to a timesheet, but people can feel valued, which, if leadership shows they value their people, the people will show value in their work, for the company, for leadership. And it's just so many benefits to investing in the people.
Mm-hmm. And I hear you say trust, and I hear you say support. And I wonder, what does that actually look like in real terms? Like, how do you know as an employee that you're being trusted by the leadership above you? How do you know as an employee that you are being supported by the leadership above you? What sorts of behaviors do they need to demonstrate in order for you to feel that?
Yeah, definitely. As far as trust, it's a little bit of a buzzword, but micromanaging, if you allow your people to sometimes make mistakes and get it wrong, but instead of reprimanding them, allowing it to be a teachable lesson. Like what happened, where did things go not according to plan, and how can we either correct it in the moment, because you can pretty much correct anything. You just have to find the solution to do so. Or moving forward, what is that solution? How can we not have the same thing happen again? Mm-hmm. Also allowing your people to speak about what they know. One of the great things about analytics is owning the data. So if I see something wrong with the data, who better to speak up about that than me?
So making your voice be heard.
Yeah.
And I would imagine doing it in a way that encourages people to listen.
Yes, that's and I forget how it goes, but the saying, you have 2 ears and 1 mouth, and there's also a difference between listening and hearing. We all hear, but we all do not listen.
One of the things that I was struck by with you immediately was exactly that, was your desire and commitment to communicating with other people in clear and calm ways that allow you to demonstrate your authority in a situation without necessarily wanting to diminish anybody else. And I was really struck by that in our work together, and I'm really hearing that come through now as well.
Thank you. I mean, I'm glad that is something that shows. I do also coach high school athletes, where I was also a high school athlete, and my coach yelling at me, or any authorities, right? Teachers, adults, you're not gonna get through. And it's the same way in business, and almost more important, because people are so guarded by their work. People have pride in their work. Right. So if you're yelling at them, or if you're not hearing them, they're gonna shut down. Where these are the people that you need to help not only you succeed, but help you do your job as well. So that's definitely been like a life, something I hold important is, if you can communicate, you can definitely do a lot of good.
I love the idea of you bringing in your lessons and experiences from outside of the workplace into your job, and integrating all of that. I think that's so crucial for really great leaders to be able to show up fully as themselves, which does mean integrating aspects of life outside of work into work, because we are, at the end of the day, we're the same human being in work as we are outside of work. And so I just love that idea of you bringing those insights in from your high school coaching role.
Yeah, I just want to give kudos to you, DDS, because in Just Lead and our conversations after that, the observations and the questions that you asked to allow people to really look introspectively, which was something huge I gained from Just Lead, even in my wording or my mindset. Like, there was a point where going out of office was like, oh crap, something's gonna happen. To where I remember saying that to you, and you're like, well, why? And it's like, you know what? That's a good point. Why do I feel this way? Just because it may have happened once or twice. And I took upon myself the next time I went out of office to not check anything, not check Slack, not check my emails, not turn on my computer at all. And I went back to work. I think I took a couple of days off at that point. Nothing happened. Nothing blew up. And it was just, okay, yeah, you have more emails to check. There might be a couple of things you have to follow up on, but work went as usual. and everything was okay.
Seems it. I mean, first of all, thank you very much. I want the people watching to know that I A, haven't paid you, and B, didn't set you up to say that. And I'm very, very grateful for those kind words and that observation and acknowledgement. Thank you, Dom. And I think two of my favorite questions are why and then how, because the why will get to the nub and the how will get to the wiring of what's going on, and they're always, if they're asked in the right way at the right time, they can be really awesome questions. Dom, it really is a pleasure every time we get to spend a moment or two talking. Thank you very much for being here. It is coming towards the end of the day. We're in the part of the country that you and I live in. So knowing you're probably going to get back online and you're going to go and do something. But I do wish you a pleasant evening, and I'm really, really grateful for you coming and showing up today.
Thank you. I appreciate you, Will, at DDS. Thanks for the opportunity.